Hello everyone, and today I'm going to talk about this week's, or rather last week's, recent Polygon article about Rock Band 4. And all I can say is it's probably the article that's finally raised them from just below Kotaku to right above Kotaku in terms of shit journalism. I hope you all enjoy me for the ride, because this is yet another Critical Beatdown. Hello everyone, Critical Beatdown time, and today's Polygon article is about Rock Band 4, as you probably saw in the intro, and it's written by Colin Campbell. And I don't know who Colin Campbell is. I think he's one of the big ones or something. Of course, we all know about Arthur Geist with his terrible review of The Witcher 3, and Colin Campbell's doing a press article on Rock Band 4. This one's taken a lot of flack recently, so let's get stuck into it, to quote Bane666. A few of my more effervescent, more gregarious, more alive colleagues in game journalism are on stage rocking out to the Killers. We are on the rooftop of a pricey hotel in Santa Monica at a press event, I keep saying that, organised by Rock Band 4's developer and publisher Harmonix. You see, it's kind of a press conference in a way, isn't it? Although really an event. You see, he doesn't seem particularly interested, as you can probably tell. I'm standing at a safe distance, drinking fizzy water, eating puff pastry canapes, and chatting to another colleague about politics in the Philippines. I'm having an okay time. Well, you seem like a very boring person. I mean, you're supposed to be covering this game, yet you're talking to a colleague about politics in the Philippines. You're kind of unprofessional as well as boring, aren't you? You're supposed to be having all attention on the game to write this article, yet it seems so far it's all about you, Campbell. I'm supposed to be focusing my attention on Rock Band 4. Yes, that is your job for the night, isn't it? But there's more chance of Ferdinand Marcos leaping onto that stage than there is of me mounting the boards, swinging a guitar strap around my neck and yelling, "Woo!" I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that you wouldn't be doing that. I don't care about rock music. I dislike crowds and I dislike loud noises. I don't do public performances except Toastmasters, which I enjoy from time to time, along with half a dozen accountants, school teachers and self-improvement nutters. Well, firstly, I want to know, why did you agree to do this job in the first place? Why Polygon even apparently somehow amazingly hired you to be a video games journalist when you don't seem to be at all interested in video games, especially games like Rock Band 4. You don't even like rock music. Now, you see, in the real world, we all have to do jobs that we don't like. And in criticism, sometimes you have to review or cover a game or some music or some films that you don't like, or of a genre that you don't like. But you still have to be professional about it, and you still have to be impartial. That's what a professional does. But you see, so far you're not a professional. All you've done is do what should be a press release, a sort of coverage for this game, and turned it into something about you. This is not meant to be about you. This is meant to be about Rock Band. It's okay to be critical of Rock Band 4, as long as it's impartial, but you shouldn't be putting your personal horrible, stupid first world problem bullshit into this. That has no place in this. You're supposed to be covering a game, not yourself. And he continues, look, sometimes in this job, you gotta cover games you don't really give a stuff about. Well, you don't seem to understand that. I played some Guitar Hero 10 years ago, and I thought it was kind of stupid. This is not because Rockstar seems stupid. It's a perfectly valid fantasy. It's just not my fantasy. Well, tough shit. You seem like you don't really understand the whole concept of covering games that you don't like. Again, this is not about you, this is about the game. Can you at least make it about the game? But I can tell from the people on stage, the fact that they are having fun and coming back for more, that Rock Band 4 has something to offer people who get together and enjoy each other and music and the whole rock and roll ethos. I'm jealous of their ability to enjoy this product. Why? Why are you jealous? So what? You don't enjoy what they enjoy? So what? Cover the game. Be a professional. Come on. If my grandmother, who does enjoy a good party, were here on this windswept hotel roof instead of sitting in an old people's home in Manchester watching Britain's Got Talent, she'd be up on stage singing and yelling into the mic, mocking me for being a boring old fart. Well, firstly, I didn't know that you were British, or you have family in Britain. In my hometown, everyone knows I'm from Manchester. Firstly, I consider that a bit of an insult, that you even come from here, or even have like some kind of connection to it. You are not one of me. Or rather, one of us, shall I say. I don't want to end up being me like this guy is. It's beginning to rub on me. Ugh. And yes, she would. She seems to be a woman who would cover this in a professional manner, while you are just being a boring old hipster fart, which she should be calling you. Some of the journos on stage are as old as I am, and frankly, no more rockstarish than a bag of spuds. This is a game for everyone except me. Oh, boo-hoo! Oh, what are you supposed to do now? Cry for you? Do you also donate to your Patreon, Colin Campbell? Is it really so sad that you can't get into this game? This is supposed to be a press release about Rock Band 4, and you're making it about yourself. And this has been published. How has this been published? Polygon's really gone as far away from full Macintosh as it possibly can. This is like a new stratospheric combination of full Macintosh and stupidity and retardation I've ever seen. This is a whole new category, mate. This is a whole new category. All video games are stupid, of course. Oh shit! Here we go. Here we are. Games journalism, publishing people who aren't games fans in the first place. Shocker! Fucking hell! That whole thing of you're not really shooting terrorists or winning the World Cup, you're just pressing buttons, is patronising and simplistic. But every now and again, you come across a game that has so little emotional connection to who you are, and that you end up standing there gazing at the screen and saying, I'm just pressing buttons and my life has no meaning. So a slightly bemused PR person. Only you! And I am not surprised that someone like you, who's clearly not a fan of video games, who has somehow managed to blag their way into becoming a games journalist, is saying this. You are not a gamer. Otherwise you have not said all video games are stupid. They are fucking not all stupid. Some video games are among the most intelligent pieces of creativity and interactive media I have ever played. Deus Ex, Season 1 of The Walking Dead. I've heard a lot of good stuff as well, like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Half-Life, Half-Life 2. Hell, even The Last of Us, even though personally I don't think it did all that much, has been regarded as groundbreaking in terms of plot for video games. Yet you're saying that all video games are stupid and that saying that it's just pressing buttons is patronising? You've just patronised the whole of the video game industry. And yes, it really isn't real, yet you seem to think it needs to have some innate value for you. I'm sorry, but the developers don't make games to please you, okay? Music games are often about pressing buttons according to visual cues, which is probably why the whole genre collapsed a few years ago. That and the ferocious greed of Activision, which insisted on publishing way too many of these games. No, it's not the fact that the genre has buttons that you have to press. It's because it got oversaturated and maybe people got bored of that genre. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's because Activision published too many. That's called, like I said, oversaturation of the market, and people decided, no, we don't want to buy this. Not because of your bullshit reasons, but Rock Band 4 is also not about just pressing buttons. Various instruments, including vocals, have been given carte blanche to express themselves in ways that are individual to the player and be rewarded for their personal skill. It's not just about sticking to the colours and the lines, it's about adding your own flavour to the song through drum riffs and vocal meanderings. This sounds like a very good game, the fact it's allowing you to do whatever you want with it. How can you not like this? Or at least not appreciate that people like it? You don't seem to appreciate that people like it. You're just a person who's not a gamer, who's somehow stepped into a whole new world, and you're suddenly like, I don't want to be here anymore, this is bullshit, why am I doing this? These people are stupid, apart from me, of course. I'm not entirely dislocated from the appeal of this feature. You are totally and utterly dislocated from this. There was a time when half a bottle of gin and a copy of Lips on Xbox 360 basically turned me to Boy George. I could do a gorgeous "Do you really want to hurt me?" assuming there's no one else in the house. I'm not interested in what you can do. I'm interested in hearing about the game. You've not really talked about this game at all. All you've talked about is yourself and why you hate video games. And gamers, sort of. But I found with that game that I could sing it worse and score higher by doing what the software wanted me to do, rather than what my Tanqueray Field Inner Culture Club needed to release. That's because it's a video game! It can't tell what's in tune and what's not in tune. It's a video game! And that's nothing wrong with that. What Band 4, as Harmonix keeps telling us, is not so much about creating a game in which there are scores and channels and targets and RPG-ish upgrade paths, though they are all certainly present, but in creating a fun experience in which people get to sing, guitar and drum their fave tunes their way and generally have a good laugh and not be booed off stage by AI douchebags. So far, as I can tell, the company is making a good fist of this endeavour. It should have ended there, but it's not ending, and you don't seem to understand at all. You almost seem to be mocking Harmonix about this. You seem to think, oh, they keep telling us this, but really, it's nothing like this. You seem utter clueless at this. You don't seem to understand that it's not supposed to be about you. At the end of each song, the game offers up suggestions for the next track, which band members can vote on. The AI crowd shouts out requests. This keeps the fantasy alive, avoids the tedium of backtracking through menus, helps iron out the social difficulty of choosing the next song. This seems to me to be part of a convincingly earnest attempt by the people at Harmonix to do the thing they are best at, which is making music games that actually make people feel good, that allow people to have a good time. Yes, well, sadly, you have just offered me a waste of time. You have offered nothing to the consumer. You just basically made this whole thing about yourself, and you've let down the consumer as a result. And so what if it's a fantasy? All games in some way are a fantasy. No one wants to live in the real world while they're playing a video game. They want to be the rock star in this game. That's the whole point. You don't seem to understand this. There are new guitars and drums being made by Mad Cats, no keyboard, but you can use your old Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 wireless contraptions on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions, which are due out later this year. Exported songs from those old games can also be uploaded. So it takes him loads of paragraphs even start talking about the game. This could all have been done in a much shorter, much more concise article about the game, but instead he's made it an entire column piece about himself. Well done, Campbell. Well fucking done. A new group of journos are on stage banging out some Fleetwood Mac. My friend, the one I was talking about the Philippines to, has wandered away. No wonder, because you talk about politics in the Philippines while he wants to go and play some goddamn rock band. You must be the most utterly boring person to ever talk to, and no wonder your gran would say that. You shouldn't be covering these games. You shouldn't even be in this job. You should be doing some other journalism elsewhere. Why is it that you could have done politics in some ragtag journalistic place, some rag like a tabloid? Instead, you're at Polygon writing about games. You don't even want to write about them. You don't even want to cover them. It's clear. And he carries on, and to conclude, I go in search of a developer to interview. Perhaps there's a quiet room where we can sit and chat. Games journalism is well and truly dead, to quote Notch. I can't believe that these editorials, these websites, will continue to employ people like Colin Campbell who have no interest in video games. They aren't gamers, and at the detriment to us, talk all about themselves and not about the game until like the last part of it, when they could have just talked about it all the way through, and it could have been shorter and more concise and helped the consumer. And it could even have helped Harmonix. This is clearly meant to advertise the game in some way for Harmonix. Instead, it's giving them negative publicity that they don't need. It's okay to be critical. That's not necessarily negative publicity. But instead, you just made it about yourself, and you're decrying the fact that these games aren't meant to be for you. Well, but tough shit, Campbell. They probably aren't meant to be for you. And so what? You know what? I could carry on, but people have already talked about this, and I highly recommend their videos. This has been Charming Man 93 with another critical beatdown. Like and share the video, drop a comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later.